What if I told you much of what we learned about our DNA is wrong? That eye color isn't just a simple Punnett square, that having a dominant gene doesn't make it common, and that saying it's in my genes is one of the most misunderstood ideas in science. Today on MindCosmosX, we are decoding the most persistent gene myths and revealing what your DNA really says about you. Let's zoom in. Inside nearly every one of your trillions of cells lies a microscopic library, the nucleus. This library holds 46 volumes called chromosomes arranged in 23 pairs, one set from each parent. Each chromosome is a long coiled molecule of DNA, and if you stretched the DNA from just one cell, it would reach about 2 meters long. DNA is your body's instruction manual written in just 4 letters A, T, Z, and C. A specific segments of this code are called genes, recipes that build proteins, the tiny machine keeping you alive. This is your blueprint, but how that blueprint is read is where the myth begins. The biggest myth of all, your genes are your destiny. The idea that DNA controls every aspect of your life and you are just following the script. But that's not how biology works. Enter a field called epigenetics, literally you have genetics. Think of your genome as a cookbook with 25,000 recipes. The text never changes, but your environment, your diet, your sleep, and your stress levels, they are the chef deciding which recipe to cook and how often. Tiny chemicals that called methyl groups can silence a gene or crank its activity up like a dimmer switch. That's why identical twins who share the same DNA can develop different personalities, body type, or even disease. You don't inherit a fixed destiny, you inherit a set of possibilities, and your daily choices decide which one comes alive. Say the word mutation, and most people imagine radioactive monsters, but in reality, a mutation is just a change in DNA, a small typo in a massive book. You were born with around 60 new mutations your parents didn't have. Most of them are neutral. They land in a non-coding regions of DNA or get repaired automatically. Some are beneficial. A famous one in the CCR5 gene protects against HIV, a literal life-saving typo. And yes, a few are harmful, breaking vital proteins and leading to genetic disorders. Scientists now often call them variants because changes itself isn't bad, it's how evolution happens. You are not a mutant to be feared, you are a masterpiece of mutation that bird. In school, we learned dominant beats recessive, but dominance doesn't mean more common. It only means one version of a gene can mask another. Whether it spreads or fades depends on how often that gene exists in the population, not on how strong it is. For example, polydactyl, having extra fingers or toes, is dominant yet rare because the allele itself is rare. Meanwhile, type O blood is recessive. You need two O alleles and still the most common blood type worldwide. So, dominant doesn't mean common, it just means visible. And finally, the last one. No family history means no risk. Sound comforting, right? But genetics doesn't work that way. First, many diseases are recessive. You can carry one faulty copy of a gene and be perfectly healthy. But if your partner carries the same one, each child has a 1 in 4 chance of inheriting both faulty copies and showing the disorder. Second, there are de novo mutations, brand new changes that appear in the sperm or egg. Your parents don't have them, but you do. You are the first link in that genetic story. Third, some dominant genes shows incomplete penetrance or dominance you can say. You might inherit the gene but never show symptoms yet still pass it on. That makes disease looks like they skip generations. So even if your family tree looks clear, your genome may still hold hidden chapters. Our DNA isn't a story of fate, monsters, or dominance. It's a language, dynamic, evolving, and deeply personal. These myths oversimplify one of the most beautiful systems in nature. When we bust them, we move from fear to understanding and from destiny to choice because your genes whisper possibilities, they don't shout commands. So tell me, which genetic myth did you believe before today? Drop it in the comment, and if you want to keep decoding the cosmos within and around us, hit subscribe to MindCosmosX. Thanks for watching.